Hello and welcome back. In this tutorial, we are going to create a complete cooldown system for the dash ability. Let's get started. Open the content drawer, go to the widgets, open the player HUD. First, let's set this progress bars to 1. And also this here. Let's change real quickly the color of this. So maybe green. So this is selected. If you want to make it the same, right click on the color, copy, select the other one, and right click paste. Okay, just a small touch up. Now let's go to the event graph. We want to create a cooldown for this, for the dash. Go to the graph. Let's create a new function. On the left side, we can type dash cooldown. Next, we need to create a variable and type dash cd. The variable is going to be float. Let's click and drag to rearrange on top of it, because I want the variable types to be like this, aligned. I don't want string here, boolean here, and so on. So let's compile. Now let's set this variable, so dash cd, to be 100. Let's compile and save again. Drag and drop the variable. We're going to set it. Now get this pin and plug it inside like this. Now we can detach this and type clamp. So we need clamp float. And put the return value into the dash cd. So this way, the progress bar is not going to go -0, and it's not going to go over 100. So it's always going to be 0 or 100. Now we need to do a small conversion. Just to explain, this is very important. So we're going to select the progress bar. So the percent goes from 0 to 1. And we want our variable to be 100. So that way we have to divide it by 100. So the return value is going to be, so divide. So we have to divide it by 100. If you remember in the previous videos, never do this binding, because this runs under tick. This is running every frame per second. You don't want to do this because it's going to be performance heavy. So instead, with the dash progress bar selected, click and drag onto the graph. And let's get it. And from here, set percent. And we need set percent, this one. Now we are setting the percent. So after the conversion of 100, like this. And now with this, so the percent is going to be 100, thanks to this node. So I have to do one more thing. Find a space over here and type return node. So this is going to be the result from all this. Let's plug it like this, and this inside like this. So you don't want this to be output get. Select it. So this is the input dash cd. This is the input. And this is the output. So it's here outputs. Let's rename it dash cd return. Let's make a readout node to make it nice and tidy. Now we can set this progress bar whenever you like. With this we are done. Now let's open the player character. Let's find the dash ability. That's why naming is very important. We're going to easily recognize your code. So go to the dash, and we have to do some small changes here. Let's first get the whole block over here, because we don't want to write some code over here and to overlap with this. So go on the side. So after do once, detach this and get all of these and put it on the side. Now get the player HUD variable. And from here we have to call that function. So if you don't remember, you can go back. It's called dash cooldown. So from here, dash cooldown, this is the function. And now we are setting this progress bar. And we want to set this immediately to 0. So when the game starts, it's going to be filled. And when you cast the dash, this is going to be set straight to 0. And with the timer, we're going to slowly fill this progress bar. So from 0, it's going to be like this, like a cooldown. Okay, let's go back to the third person character. Now we need more space on the right. Now this is good. Now we need to add one more timer. So if you hold down S, if you left click, we're going to go sequence, or alternatively type sequence. So if you hover over, it says executes a series of pins in order. So if I haven't explained before, I'm not sure, this is going to run simultaneously. So at the same time, this and this. Now this is going to run first. That's okay. And second, we need another timer for filling the progress bar. So custom event and type start dash recharge or cooldown, up to you, but I will call it recharge. So let's call a timer from here and plug it in the then 1. Let's make this a bit more space. So we don't want to immediately clear it as we usually do, because first we want this to loop, and when it reaches 100, then we are going to clear it. So check loop. So this timer needs to run very quick. So I'll show you now why. So type 0.015, and you can use this variable if you want. From here you can type dash cooldown. So we want to increase the progress bar, because if you remember, we are setting it to 0. And now we have to fill this progress bar. So from here we are going to extract that variable. We're extracting this variable, dash cd. So from here, get dash cd, so get the variable. And from here type plus. Now this is going to start filling the progress bar. Simply input like this. So after a lot of testing, number 1 in combination with this speed is going to be very good. But you can always play with the values, because if you put this 1, this is going to be very slow. We have to set this to run very fast. So 0.015. So with this number, the progress bar is going to run very smooth. Okay, next we have this return value. We can type equal. And now when this reaches 100, our progress bar, then we are going to clear and invalidate. So get it from here and clear. If it's false, we don't want to do anything. We want to run this code only when it's true. And now we want to reset the dash. Because at the moment, if you go over here, we can reset it immediately. So this is going to be a bug. So we're going to detach this reset dash, because we want to reset only when we are having full progress bar. Now let's compile and save. And let's see what do we have. Now I'm going to press dash. Now let's set this with the different values. Let's say if you set it maybe 0.2. Now it fills with very little amount, but it goes very fast because of this number here. So this is giving smoothness. Now we are going to set this to 1. And let's see how we can make this to be even more modular. Pull a pin from here, promote to variable. And the variable's over here. Let's rename it dash recharge. So let's compile so we can play with the value here. So we're going to leave the default to 1. Next we need to expose this variable so we can change it in the editor. It's this eye icon here. If you remember, in the previous lessons, we have created player spells category. Now this variable is outside of our category. Now click and drag to add it inside the player abilities. Now again, I want float to be next to float. So compile and save. Now let's see in our game with the player selected. If you scroll down, we have Hadouken, dash recharge, and other stuff. Now let's say we want to be very fast the recharge. Let's say maybe 5. Now it's going to fill very fast. Now let's see if it's working the other way. So I want dash recharge to fill very slow. In the meantime, I'm going to start spamming the button to see if I'm going to discover any bug. So I cannot cast because I'm waiting to reach 100. So the code works perfectly fine. Now let's add one more thing. So with the dash recharge selected, so in the description over here, let's write something and I will explain what does this mean. So let's type, for example, the higher the value, the faster you'll recharge. Let's put a period. So hold shift and enter to make a new line and type default columns and type 1. Now when you compile and save, if you go now to the player, now this is like a tooltip. If you go and hover over the dash recharge, you will see the tooltip you have created. So this is a professional level of organizing your project. So make sure you're putting something descriptive and meaningful. It's a very good practice to hover over Hadouken CD. Now if you want to put tooltip here, go back to the variable. So select the Hadouken and type something in the description. Now if you get confused with the values, simply go to the arrow and it's going to set to the default value that you have set initially inside the code. Okay, now let's fix this mess. I will do this later on. But yes, this is going to be it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we're going to create the cooldown system for the Hadouken ability. That is going to be slightly more complex to make, but I will explain everything step by step, because I want to make sure you will learn it well. See you in the next one.